Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. And with me today is my guest, Tricia Meyer. I always want to put an S at the end of your name, and I don't know why. I think that's pretty common, but
Yes, it does. My mom actually, the first 3 years I was married, she addressed every card she sent me to Tricia Meyers. Yeah, so you're in good company.
hilarious. Thanks for joining me, Tricia. Welcome to the Nerdatorium here.
I'm happy to be here, and I love it. Like in this interface, the thing popped up that says "You're in the show." I'm like, jazz hands. I'm
Yeah.
ready for the show.
I'm going to expect more jazz hands throughout the show. Anytime you make a really great point, don't be afraid here.
We're all friends, right? We're all friends.
Absolutely. And speaking of friends, we will be doing live Q&A about anything affiliate marketing. If you want to come on in and heckle us or drop any questions, please do in the chat. We've already got Eric Nagel jumping in, saying hi, showing us his support. What's up, Eric?
Jazz fan hands for Eric.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Let's talk about you, Tricia. Tell us.
One of my
Who are
favorite
you?
topics. Woohoo! So who am I? So okay, Tricia Meyer, not Myers. And I have a couple of things that I do. I am a full-time publisher in affiliate marketing. I've been doing it for almost 20 years now. I am a lawyer in Indiana, but then I'm also the executive director of the PMA part-time. So I like to think that all of those kind of come together because of the PMA and because there's so many legal issues in our industry. So I've been doing the attorney thing for 25 years now and the affiliate thing for 20 years. And now PMA director, I think for the last 7 or 8 or something like that. I live in Indianapolis. I have 2 kids. One just graduated from college last weekend. Oh, I can't believe it. And then the other that just finished her second year of college. So kind of on that verge of empty nesting.
Oh, they're still hanging around?
Oh, they're definitely, yeah. I'm not letting them go that easily. Yeah, I'm not letting them go that easily. No, I pull them in every chance I get.
Oh, okay. Hey, mom's gonna be moms. And that's a great thing. I can't wait to hold on to mine. I think let's see it. What are we, 7 and 8 right now? It's real close to 7 and 9. I got a lot of time. Nick Marchese coming in saying Kristen not big time. Yes. Old inside joke from earlier shows.
I saw that show.
Yeah, fantastic.
I watched Nick, so thank you, Nick, for watching mine because I did watch yours.
Awesome. We're going to drop in a link to Tricia's LinkedIn profile so you can get a hold of her later on if you need to talk about that. And Tricia, I want to get in to your lawyer hat. If you can put that lawyer hat on for a little bit, I want to talk about terms and conditions for merchant programs, right? Retailers, as you like to call them. This is a topic that's not well talked about necessarily, but brands need to protect themselves from affiliates, creating some kind of fraudulent transaction, and they need almost some legalese in their contract. But I like to preach they still have to be common layman's language. What do you like to preach when you're talking about terms and conditions?
So I'm one of those lawyers that's just enough of a practicing lawyer to be dangerous, but not enough that you'd come to me and have me write a contract for you. So if someone comes to me with a contract, I can review it. I can help them make changes to it. And what I usually say is you don't have to hire attorneys to do something kind of templated like this. You're going to find great examples in a lot of places to find this kind of thing. In fact, the PMA even has a retailer agreement document that they're updating right now. It's about 6 years old. So we have a version of it, but we're updating it for some new things like adding in influencers and things like that recently. There's some very basic things that you want to change in your agreement. You always want to change your choice of law. So you want to make sure that if something happens that you're filing suit in your state and not having to go to another state. So that choice of law provision is something that's super easy that you just always want to scroll almost to the very end and change that. But the thing about complicated contracts is that your publishers aren't going to understand them very well anyway, because most of the publishers you're working with are not hiring attorneys to review every retailer agreement that they're signing. So the simpler that you make it for both of you, the better. So you're just making sure that you're hitting all the main points, that you're hitting things that might not already be part of the network provisions. A lot of things that the affiliates are already having to agree to just by virtue of being in the network. So unless you're doing something totally in-house with a tracking program that doesn't have those kind of terms, and you need to include those as well. But your basic terms and conditions, which we go through in that PMA document, where you're setting the boundaries for things like your coupon code usage and your trademark bidding, search bidding, all of those kind of things, that you just want to be really clear. Also, all of your FTC disclosure language, that is really big, because and that needs to be not only in that TNC, but also something that goes into your emails and your newsletters, because you want to be able to prove to the FTC, if something ever happens, that you are crystal clear with your publishers about helping them understand what those disclosure rules are.
Yes. Let's talk FTC in a second. If you want to see those terms and conditions, go to dustinhouse.com/terms, and there's a PDF to the PMA's official contract for or statement. What would you call it? Like
it's kind of a guide, a guide to retailer agreements, with a lot of check boxes where you just go through and you determine for your particular relationship what applies and doesn't apply, because you're always going to have differences depending on, are you doing your own inside search, are you working with influencers and different things like that. So you want it to be customized to you, but we just give some different options in there.
Beautiful. All right, and you mentioned FTC. Let's tell the people, the crowd here, more about FTC, because it's one of those like sweep it under the rug kind of things that a lot of affiliate managers may not be completely educated on, and they kind of want to turn a blind eye sometimes so that they can get the results that they're looking for. But the importance of it is huge in this industry. Can you tell us a little bit more on your thoughts here?
Yeah. So, I look at it from different perspectives. So I have that lawyer hat that is all about, what are the actual rules? What are we supposed to be doing? But then also as a publisher who tries to follow those rules. And one thing is that, we're all supposed to be disclosing our material connections. So we're supposed to be saying, I am getting paid for this, whether it's a link, it's a video, it's a sponsored post, whatever it is that we're getting, flat rate, commission, free product, it doesn't matter. We're supposed to be disclosing that. And if you think about it, it's only fair. If you're going to buy something online and, you get this email from whatever media that you follow, it might be CNN, it might be New York Times, whatever, you get an email where they say like, oh, we have the top running products for this summer. And you click on that and you're reading it, kind of looking at it like it's a news story or it's an actual review of these products. And they don't tell you that they're being paid to promote those specific products. It's going to be different in your mind. If it says at the top of the page, this is a paid advertisement and they list products on there, you're going to feel differently about those endorsements. And so, it's not fair it's not fair to your audience if you don't disclose those things. And that's all the FTC cares about, is what's fair to the people that are reading this stuff. So, you have to think about it as a publisher. You might have less conversions. It's true. You might have people that see that at the top that says, I might be getting paid if you buy something in this article, and they won't click on it because of that. But we just don't see that happening a lot. So, from the publisher perspective, I feel really ripped off when I see my competitors that aren't doing that. And it makes me angry at the merchants who aren't enforcing the rules, because I think, okay, I wrote a post and I disclosed that my review I was paid for, but then my competitor writes a post and they don't say anything in there about being paid for that. So I look like a shill for the company, whereas they look like they're just trying to, help everybody out and tell them the best possible products. And we're all really doing the same thing. So, I think keep your publishers happy by following the rules and enforcing the rules like that, because those are the publishers you should want to work with anyway, the ones that are doing the right thing for the industry and for the consumers.
For sure. And I like to try to spin it for the publishers that are doing it already and following the rules, and especially for the publishers that aren't doing it, and you need to poke them and say you need to put FTC disclosure on there. But more importantly, I like to try to spin that FTC to a good light, right? If you spin it in the right light to the consumer that's reading it, you can actually benefit yourself and improve your conversion rate if you have the right message. I like to say, hey, there's some sponsored content in here. There's some affiliate links, and it's going to support us so that we can make more great content for you, something around those bases. And people will understand that. That's a much better message. And I'm seeing on TikTok right now, there's a little button on the bottom saying eligible for commissions. So they're embracing the FTC compliance as well, which is really fresh in the last couple of days that I've noticed.
Yeah, so lots to pick apart here, like between the comments and things that you said. I do have a material connection with Eric, but he is not being paid to watch today. So I don't know if that actually counts. Where should the disclosure be? You cannot put your disclosure in the footer. It can be at the top of the page, except it still needs to be a full disclosure. So you can't just have in the menu bar like a link to disclosure. It has to, be above. It has to always be above the affiliate links. It's supposed to be close to them. You also can't just say affiliate links because the FTC doesn't think that people understand that. So if you say, I'm getting paid through the affiliate links, I make money through the affiliate links, like that's totally fine. But if you just I see a lot of people, they'll put on social media, they'll put something in the parentheses, they'll say affiliate link. And the FTC says no. And this is so frustrating to me because I asked ChatGPT about how to do an FTC disclosure, and it said you could use the word affiliate. And I truly did not believe that was right. I went back through all of the FTC documentation to see if that was right. And it was not. And the reason I figured out what had happened was if you Google that, the first few responses in Google all say you can use the word affiliate, and they're all wrong. And I even second guessed myself when I went to Gary Keibel at DG Law, who's our PMA attorney. And I said, am I reading this wrong? Am I off the mark here? And he said, no, that they agree too, that you cannot just use the word affiliate or affiliate links because the FTC doesn't allow that. So yeah, say something about money, say something about sponsored, say hashtag ad, like anything like that, that's just going to make it clear. But like you said, most of the time, if you tell your readers that you're making a little bit of money off of that, they feel like you're being honest with them. And if you're being honest with them about that, why would you be dishonest about the product you're reviewing? That would make no sense.
Absolutely. And for those listeners on the podcast version of this that can't see it, we had a question that should the disclosure be near the affiliate links or is it sufficient to be in the footer? Great question. And Tricia just answered that. Put it on the top of the page before you ever put an affiliate link in any of your content. So, or top page, you got it. Kristen Evans, formerly Big Time Evans. Yes, encouraging your readers to support you is a great tactic, great part. And then we have a follow-up question. What about loyalty publishers?
So loyalty and coupon sites are different because they are the FTC has said that if it's clear that something is an advertisement or for money making purposes, if it's not review based, if it's not subjective like that, if it should be clear to the person that this is a commercial transaction, then you don't have to disclose that. So you have a banner ad on your page. You don't have to say this banner ad will make me money because it's clear that a banner ad is an advertisement. Same thing with when you go to a coupon site, when you go to a cashback or loyalty site, things like that. I'm not actually endorsing any of the products or endorsing those merchants. I'm just saying, click here and get 3% back on your purchase. Click here and get 10% off when you shop. I'm not saying click here and shop at this site because I really love it. I'm just saying click here and this is what you get for clicking. So it's a little bit different because it's viewed as more commercial speech and less of an actual personal endorsement. And there is some ambiguity there, where coupon sites or cashback sites are starting to do blog posts. Yeah, I see what Kristen just said.
Absolutely. FTC.
I know. It's one of those things that why do I love FTC disclosure and hate it all at the same time? I don't know.
We're all nerds in our own way, and that's what we're here talking about in the nerdatorium here. So Eric brought up, he has no material connection to Tricia, but I'm not... we have another comment from the PMA is 15 and super keen. Thank you, LinkedIn user.
That should be our new. That should be our new slogan. We didn't even think of that. We got a whole new logo, but no slogan.
Super keen. So that brings me to today's unofficial sponsor of the day, the PMA. They are not paying me to say this, but I am a proud supporter and board member of the PMA and the Marketing Council as well. And just been such a great organization to me and my career, and getting mentorship from Tricia and all the others in this organization has been extremely powerful for me, and I just love everything we're doing here. And Tricia, tell everybody about your role and what the PMA is actually doing.
So I actually just found an email where in June of 2008, I sent an email to Rebecca Madigan, who was helping start the Performance Marketing Alliance, which is what was initially called, and had posted on a Best Web, which any of you who have been here forever know was an old forum where a lot of us started our careers in affiliate marketing. And they were posting about, we need to have a trade association. We're thinking about starting working groups. And I sent this super cheesy email to her that was like a little puppy dog. When I read it back, it's like, can I help? Can I help? I don't really know what I'm doing, but I really want to help. And she was like, you got spirit. We'd love to have you join in. And then I was like sucked in. At first, I was just part of those working groups. Then I just became a member who kind of participated at, kind of the base level, did councils. Then I joined the board of directors, became the secretary. And then when Brian Littleton left, they were kind of looking at, in terms of the workload at the board level and different needs that they had, if they could bring somebody in just part-time that could do the legal work that needed to be done, but then also do all the council work and kind of hold things together. And they asked me to do it because they knew that I absolutely loved the PMA so much that no matter what, I would make sure that it continued. So even though I'm part-time, I'm on the PMA all day, every day. I have my Slack open that's on my phone. Like I'm constantly PMA all day, every day.
Yeah, you are. I have noticed. You're super responsive. Once we have a Slack channel where everybody's got their opinions on topics, and we're sharing what those opinions might be of industry hot topics, which is great. And you're always in there interacting with everybody, and I absolutely love it. So tell us about more about what the PMA is trying to do. What is their ultimate goals here?
So the ultimate goal is just support the entire industry to be educational, to help with resources, and to help with networking. So, we do that through different things. In terms of the education and the resource piece, we have different councils that meet. It's kind of, there's a weird thing. There's councils and there's committees. Like you're on a membership committee because that's what the board does. The councils are what non-board members can do. And we have all these different councils. We have compliance and measurements and insights, coupons and deals, industry advancement, what am I missing? Publisher recruitment, all these different councils that just meet once a month, and they have a Slack channel. So each of them kind of decides what is a group they think is important right now and how they want to tackle that. Do they want to do a white paper that's going to be a resource for the entire industry? Do they want to do a webinar that's just bringing members together and allowing them to talk about it? Do they want to do a webinar on LinkedIn that allows for non-members to be able to be educated about the topic? So, each council kind of has its own identity depending on the makeup of the people in that council and what they're all interested in. You have things like publisher recruitment, which is mainly agencies like you that talk only about publisher recruitment issues. So they're talking about, how do we get more publishers into affiliate marketing in general? How do we get publishers into our programs? How do we get publishers onto a network if they don't know how to do that? How do we get influencers to pick up affiliate marketing? So they do nothing but that kind of as a group because they all have that big common goal. But then you have other groups like compliance, where everybody on the compliance council has a different take. They might be more concerned about email compliance. They might be more concerned about FTC. It might be tax issues. Everybody kind of has their own take of compliance. And so instead of doing big papers together and big webinars together, they might each take on a specific subject and then do something with that for the PMA.
Yes, absolutely. And, the entire board and the members don't have to be where the board levels are, but the people that get into the board have 10 years experience, and they're all coming together, putting in and volunteering their time to make this a better organization, to make the industry better and to push it forward. And one of those super hot topics going on right now within the organizations is merchants moving into other networks, abandoning their old affiliate program, and just leaving the commissions unpaid to the publishers out there. And it's extraordinarily frustrating for the publishers out there that are getting shafted. But the merchants moving to another network, the network is just trying to sell their product to another merchant. And this is a growing problem. Tell me about what we're seeing out there.
So, from the publisher standpoint, I've obviously always seen this going on. And a lot of times, depending on how the network is set up, depending on what type of publisher you are, you can be really screwed. Like as a cashback site, I pay my members out after so many days. So even if I haven't been paid yet, I just assume that merchant's eventually going to pay me. And then if they don't, and I've allowed my members to cash out, I'm just out the money. And so, that might be different than having a blog post where I put in a lot of time, but I'm not out the money for it. I'm out, 3 or 4 hours of time on the blog post. But, so depending on what you're doing, or if you're a search, if you're search and you're fronting all of that money in search and then not getting paid back for it, that's obviously a huge issue for you. So what is happening is this came up at Affiliate Summit last year, where it was brought up, asking the networks, what are you doing about this? Why are you allowing these merchants to leave without paying, and then come to a new network and just start a new program? And the networks all kind of said, oh yeah, we'll do something about this. We'll all work together and stop this. It hasn't stopped. I saw a merchant that did it and actually reported it to the networks and said, hey, what's going on here? Because you all said this is going to stop, and it's still happening. But the first thing everybody wanted to jump into was, well, let's just make a list of all the bad merchants. Let's just, put up a database somewhere, and every time a merchant doesn't pay, we'll just add their company name to this list. And then, everybody can see who the bad guys are. But as a lawyer, that gives me heart palpitations, because it's like you realize you can't just do that, like because you don't know why they left. Was it because they were disputing a lot of the sales as fraudulent, and the network was just saying like, we don't care, you have to pay for them anyway? And the merchant says, well, I'm not paying for fraudulent sales. You didn't help me, to not have all these fraudulent sales. You didn't give us what we needed, and so we're not paying for it. And then they up and leave and go to another network that says, we'll make sure to help you not get fraudulent sales. And in that mindset, it's like, well, maybe they did have a legit reason for doing that. Maybe they really were fraudulent sales and the network didn't help them, and they're just not paying on fraudulent sales. Or is that just the excuse that they're using because they don't want to pay? Because how many times, does a merchant say, oh yeah, that was fraudulent? And what they really mean is, well, that person clicked through an email in addition to the publisher, and that's fraudulent because the publisher tried to get commission for it. And you're like, well, that's not fraudulent. That's just the way consumers work. So sometimes it's retailers just not understanding, and so they want to just jump and move somewhere else. Sometimes it's because they got a better deal and they find it's a way to save some money. Like, oh, we'll just move to this new network. But the really tricky time is when it's bankruptcy, because you have these merchants that filed for bankruptcy protection. And unfortunately, as affiliates, we're not secured creditors. So if a merchant goes into bankruptcy, they may not be shutting down as a merchant completely. They may just be reorganizing their business. But in reorganizing the business, the courts say, okay, we're going to discharge 90% of the money that you owed, which includes all affiliate commissions. And now your business can move forward. And they say, okay, then we'll just drop off of this network where we owed all this pre-bankruptcy money, and we'll start fresh on a new network. And that happens. Yeah. And it happens. And and affiliates may not even realize that this has happened. And so they might still be waiting for their money over here, and they don't even realize the program has been closed and gone for months.
Yeah.
Because you don't always know that. So, and that's one of those cases where legally that merchant is not required to pay that affiliate bill. So if we were to have a list of bad merchants and say, don't work with this merchant because they defrauded affiliates, they did not defraud the affiliates. They did what was legal under the bankruptcy code.
Yeah.
So then if the PMA owns that list and says this company is fraudulent, now the PMA can get sued by that retailer for putting them on that list. So it's just a lot more complicated than on its face.
Right. And this is such a bad practice from the merchant side anyway. They're just shooting themselves in the foot they're burning all those bridges with the affiliates that were bringing them in traffic and conversions. And you can't go back to them and say, hey, we've got this new platform over here. Can you come join us now? Yeah, once you pay my money that you owed me, like, how does that conversation really go? I mean,
we've seen it happen. We saw it with entertainment 10 years ago or so. They had a program on CJ. The company filed for bankruptcy. They didn't have to pay any of the affiliate fees. A new company bought the entertainment books, like name and everything. They reopened the program on the same network and said, yeah, we're not paying you all that back money because we don't have to, but we'd really still love to work with you. It's up to you if you want to work with us or not. And, there were a lot of publishers that were like, well, if I wasn't getting that money anyway, and I really want to sell entertainment books because I've already written the blog post and done the reviews and have, all the pages, I might as well jump back in the program. And they have an active and thriving program still now.
You're ridiculous. So ultimately there's no real good answer and solution to all of this, right? Like, even if we were to create some kind of user generated comments, like blog post or forum to highlight all the merchants that are doing this kind of practice and like verifying them, even if we were to do that, like, who's going to go there and check that before they go and join programs? It's just a messy situation altogether. But, PMA, to their credit, we're all trying to come up with a solution to help this get better. And that's one of those things that just takes some steps along the way. Let's pivot into like the PMA and what they're doing out there to protecting SMBs out there in the market. There's one of the greatest assets of the PMA and joining the PMA is the protection that they give you and, the guidance they can give you as a company to run your affiliate program. Tell us what you're doing and how we're doing that with the PMA.
I think from the beginning, the PMA has kind of tried to level the playing field between the big and the small businesses. From those very early working groups, the board of directors itself was set up so that in terms of the size of the companies that were elected to the board, it had to be between the big companies and the smaller companies to make sure that everyone's voices were being heard. And now a majority of our members are actually smaller businesses. So even though we get a lot more funding in chunks from those industry champion, network members, in terms of volume of our members, we have a lot more smaller agencies and smaller publishers. So, a lot of what we do is with a mind toward that. We don't want to see the small companies gone from the industry because it doesn't help any of us. We're not going to be a better industry because every company we have is huge. Of course, we want to see those big companies. We want to see the traditional media integrating affiliate marketing. We want to see more big retailers starting affiliate programs. But at the same time, we can't forget that so much of affiliate marketing was built on the backs of the small businesses. It was the people that were creating coupon websites with, front page and just putting up individual links on their sites. There were no APIs. There was no FMTC coupon feed, nothing like that. These were just people that were out there trying to help other people save money. The original, mom blogs were people that were just posting about problems they were having with their kids and trying to help other people solve those problems too. So, most of affiliate marketing when it started were those types of businesses. And we have to, keep that in mind. So we do a lot of resources for smaller companies. Like this retailer, guide this isn't going to be for, the Targets and the Walmarts that have their in-house counsel that are going to be writing all of that themselves. This is going to be for the smaller retailers who need a checklist like this because they're not paying in-house counsel all the time. Some of the other things that we do with the networking events, doing a media kit guide, just that is with the thought that smaller businesses don't even know how to create a media kit. And so when it comes Q4 and we start getting these messages from the agencies, from the OPMs that are saying like, hey, we need your media kit for Q4. And you get that email and you think, well, if I had a media kit, I'd send it to you, but I have no idea how to make a media kit. So the PMA is like, hey, here's a sample media kit. If you want to know what you need to put in it, this is showing you exactly what you should put in it and giving you some options of how to format it. And so again, that's something that's geared toward these smaller businesses that just don't have those resources in-house.
Fabulous. And the PMA has so many incredible free resources just for anybody out there, but the resources that come from actually being a member is so much more. Like uh, getting the guides that are just freshly produced by these board members with extreme experience in the industry and pulling together their thoughts and their leadership into these documents been super helpful for my career as well as other members that go in and join. And another big perk for members that join the PMA, the free tickets. I fully take advantage of this for every affiliate summit and get the free ticket because I'm running my own business, so it makes sense for me to do it. But tell me about the perks here.
Yeah, so we increased this year from affiliate summit free tickets to also now have PI Live free tickets. And we'll have those again next year as well. And I actually just got the email today that they announced PI Live again in Miami for next April. So we'll have a PMA presence there. So if you're just looking at your calendars for next year and you're thinking, well, I'm going to need at least one affiliate summit ticket, I'm going to need a PI Live ticket, all of a sudden you've paid for your PMA membership just in those two. And then discounts, if you're looking at bringing employees with you, if you've got a couple of employees who you just want to bring to affiliate summit or, because you want them to be able to learn more fast and you don't want to pay the outrageous prices for some of the conferences, we have discount codes too. So it's not even just getting the free tickets, that we've got some discount codes that we've been doing too.
Yeah. And go to these conferences, mingle, network. And yes, the price of admission for a membership for PMA pays for itself every year for me, which is why I continue to do it on top of all the other things that we've been talking about today. And speaking of conferences,
and then we'll have things at those events too. We'll have we have our mixers at those that you get free tickets for as well. So in addition to the conference tickets, you're getting tickets to our events. You get free tickets to the brunches, the happy hours, things like that we do.
Yeah, come hang out at those events. I love nerding out with all my friends in the industry, and having a few drinks there doesn't hurt either. What conference are we going to next? You're almost always got a table and a booth signing people up. So where are you headed next?
We will be at Affiliate Summit officially. So we'll be at Affiliate Summit East in New York at the end of July. I think it's July 31st, August 1st. We will have a booth there where people can come by. They're doing just meat market, not exhibit hall. So it's a 2-day meat market. So it's all going to be kind of the smaller booths, not the great big setups. So I think like noon to 4, noon to 5, something like that. Both days we'll have members. We always have PMA members that volunteer to work at that booth. Justin gets roped into that all the time. But the thing I love about that, I don't mind being there the whole time. I've set aside the whole day to be at the booth as much as needed. But I love that our members are there because, first of all, they're networking with each other. So we have 2 or 3 members that are working every hour, and they're kind of meeting other members and making business deals. Then other people that are coming to the booth are meeting our members and getting to hear from them, someone that's not being paid to be there. They're hearing from the members why it's important to be a part of the PMA. And then the members get something out of that too, because, most of our members aren't going to have their own meat market booth, but if they come and work our booth for an hour, there's no telling what kind of business they may end up with as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I talk about this organization like it's a cult, but it's a good cult to be part of. All
the cult PMA
in my effort for this. We're not drinking any terrible Kool-Aid here. Awesome. Thanks, Tricia. Tell us about, No Affiliate Nerd Out would be official if we didn't talk about AI and what you're doing with it. So tell me, what's your relationship with the AI right now?
I mean, we're friends. So the PMA had a webinar that we did a couple months ago that came out of the Compliance Council that Eric was a part of because he does a lot with programming GPT. And then we had a couple of other people there as well, where we talked about all the different ways that people are using AI in affiliate marketing. And what was super interesting to me was that we did a survey before we did this webinar, and we just put out some very basic questions where we were saying are you using AI? Who owns the content that's produced by AI? Should retailers limit it or not? And almost every question that we asked came out 50-50 responses. There's no consensus on anything in affiliate marketing related to AI right now. Who owns the content? What kind of terms and conditions there should be, whether or not we should be using it, what we should be using it for. No one in this survey agreed on anything. So that tells me that we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And the compliance councils actually, they kind of decided that everything is changing so much that normally we would hit a topic, and move on from that topic, but they are going to come back like 6 months from that original webinar and do another one just to touch everything that's happened since then. We're starting to have more talk about regulations. At that time, which was only like 2 months ago that we did that webinar, the talk federally was, well, we don't need new regulations because everything that's AI fits somehow under other regulations that we have. The FTC was saying, we have all these rules, we can apply these rules to AI. And now just in 2 months, we're starting to have a lot of the tech companies themselves coming out and saying, we need there to be regulations. We need some rules around this. So just in 2 months time, we went from existing rules cover it to we need a whole new set of rules. So who knows, what form that is going to take by the end of the year. Will there be actual legislation passed statewide or federally about the use of AI? And some of the things they're talking about are, I just think we can't even get people to say that they're like putting up a sponsored post, but right. We want people that use AI to tag it with something that says this was generated by AI. Yeah. Like, what are the chances? Like, what are the chances people are actually going to do that?
Yeah.
Thank you for reading this blog post. Not only does it make money for me, but it was generated by artificial intelligence. Here's the shoes you should buy your dad for Father's Day. Like, I just don't know what that will even look like.
Well, the answer is almost always white New Balances. If ChatGPT doesn't put white New Balance on there, then they're wrong, and you can.
Okay, we're gonna have to test that out after we're done here. We're gonna have to test that and see what they say. But yeah, so like, they're saying that they think that people need to tag when they are using AI, but we've seen how few people disclose properly, influencers, bloggers, everybody. So what are the chances that AI users? And honestly, in terms of affiliate marketing, there is a good question about what's the difference between a site that uses another person writing the content, if they're using article spinning, if they're using PLR, or they're using AI and then making updates to it. Like, there's some real weird lines in there that it's hard to say one is right and one of them is wrong.
Yep. And the ones that are winning right now are the ones hustling the most while it's still in its Wild West days. So the people that are pounding out the content and Google not recognizing that it is AI generated content are ranking harder and higher and faster right now than everybody else on the internet. So you embrace it and be cautious about it and adjust that content. And that seems to be the best practice right now, but who knows? And who's to say that you own or don't own that content in reality as well? Yet to be determined. Because I remember when I filled that out and I said I used AI, and I was like, I own that content, obviously, but the other side of the equation, people are like, absolutely not, you don't. I thought the wide variety of answers was pretty impressive to me, because it's just opinion oriented right now, and nobody's maybe people are super passionate about it or not, but like, I'm middle of the road. I'm gonna embrace it regardless.
That's kind of where I am too. Like, try to use it, figure out what's going on, and we'll see.
We will see. Kristen Evans mentioned the PMA is going to also be at e-tail here. Great point.
Yeah, I think we actually have an affiliate panel that is Kristen and Wade and maybe Christina. I think that might be right. That they're going to be doing a panel together to try to spread the good word about affiliate marketing to a lot of those retailers that may not understand it yet.
That's awesome. There's a comment I missed earlier from Ayush. Promotion through Chrome extension. Disclosure is difficult to add on extensions. That's a great point. You want to jump into that real quick before we end this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing promotion through an extension like that, you're probably not doing an endorsement. If you have an extension, it's probably just a pop-up for a coupon or get this at a lower price somewhere else or something like that. That would not fall under endorsement. That would fall under that same commercial, obviously commercial activity as what a coupon page or a loyalty site would. If you somehow managed to pop up something that said like, this is a great product, you should definitely buy it at this other place, click here to buy it, then that would require some kind of disclosure. But I don't think that's the kind of extensions most people are doing.
Right. The extensions are kind of exempt from that as loyalty and coupon sites are. Okay, good to go. Great point. Thank you so much for joining me today in the Nerdatorium. Really appreciate your time. If you would like to be a guest on Affiliate Nerd Out, go to dustinhouse.com/nerd and jump in, and I will review applications. I've got a long list of folks that are looking to get on this show. Next week, I have Leon Johnstone and Brett Owens to join me on Affiliate Nerd Out, and we've got a really full list in June and a few openings in July. But I'm loving this format and continuing to nerd out with my friends. Tricia, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. And thanks for all of the wonderful people that watched along and left comments and were supportive. I love you all.
Absolutely. Really appreciate oh, wow. We have a very long comment from Nick Marchese. AI can be a fantastic way to content. In my opinion, ownership depends on the prompts which are used to generate it. It's a vague statement. Write me a blog post on why Tricia is the best. Then not much went into it. But if the prompt, I guess it was too long for him to even actually get into there. I'm trying to prompter wouldn't have created the same flow. You might have spelled her last name wrong. It's without an S. So if you put Tricia Meyer, try that out next time, Nick. And then anonymous user of LinkedIn says, great stuff. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody for listening. Good luck out there, and we'll see you next time.